Hello and welcome back once again to After the Credits. So today we're talking about The Great Wall. So what did I think of The Great Wall? It was a little bit better than I thought it was going to be based on the preview that I saw going into it. At the same time, it wasn't the greatest movie of the year, I can say that. But overall, I don't think it was as bad as everyone kind of claimed it was after seeing it. When I first saw the preview for it, I was like, okay, we got Matt Damon on the Great Wall of China. This is probably going to be another issue of everyone complaining about whitewashing an Asian cast and all that. No, they actually have a very heavy Asian cast in this movie. They don't all speak English. Unfortunately, I think I missed part of the movie having to read subtitles because I kind of zoned out on the subtitles at one point. It was just like, okay, well, everything they're saying is kind of progressing through what I'm understanding of the movie, so I don't really need to follow this too much. And I think I missed a few key points by not reading the subtitles and just kind of letting the movie flow. But overall, I still kind of got the gist of what was going on. So basically what ends up happening is Matt Damon's character is a war deserter, and he's in China with other war deserters from other factions of other armies, and they're all looking for China's mysterious black powder, gunpowder. They've heard tell of it, they want to get some, bring it back, and they can use it to end the war. Again, they're all from different military factions on different sides. Like, his best friend in the movie is, I believe, French, and he said, if we were back home, we would be enemies, we'd be fighting each other, but because we both deserted, we're here and we're friends. So, who's going to take the black powder back for who? Because if Matt Damon takes it, then whoever he's fighting for, say England, and the other guy takes it back for France, even though they'd probably be killed for deserting their armies, but might get pardoned for bringing back this new weapon. Now both sides have the weapon, so no side is better off than the other, which is kind of the whole point of the movie, is why China didn't want the outside world to have it. Because they knew it was a powerful weapon, and if everyone had it, then the wars would be uneven again, and it wouldn't really matter. So basically, they're after the black powder. They're camping out in the desert, and they get attacked by bandits, so they take off trying to run from this group of bandits. A bunch of them get killed, and only Matt Damon and the French guy make it, and they end up at the Great Wall with the bandits at their back. So they throw down their weapons to be taken into the Great Wall and protected from the bandits. So then once inside, the one or two of the Chinese that actually speak English ask them why they're there. They said, we came to trade, we were attacked, blah, blah, blah. They don't tell them what they're there to trade for, just they came to establish trade and were attacked. So they take them in, but they're kind of wary. And then we find out that the Great Wall was built to keep out an enemy, which in history was the Mongols, but in this is some type of alien lizard creature. Not 100% sure where they came from. We later find out that a long time ago this meteor crashed into a mountain nearby the capital of China, and every 60 years or so these monsters attack. So at one point when they had a 60-year downtime, they built the Great Wall to defend against these monsters, and they've trained all these armies. Basically there's 5 branches of the armies. There's the black armor, the blue armor, the purple armor, the yellow armor, and the red armor. But each one is like a different division. Like the black armor is the foot soldiers, the blue armor is like the wire fighters who hook themselves up to wires, dive off the wall, stab things, and try and jump back up without getting eaten. Sure, seems like a viable use of person to me instead of just going halfway down the wall and throwing spears or something and then coming back up. No, you go all the way down, stab one in the head, and hope you can make it back up before another one eats you. The purple division is just kind of another branch of the foot soldiers, but they're like the shield bearers because they do like the shield wall like the Spartans would do, and that's just kind of for advancement. The red are the archers, and I forget what the yellow ones did. They all had a purpose, but I forget what they all were. So at first, Matt Damon and the French guy are prisoners because they aren't sure if they can trust them yet or not. And they're kind of up on the wall as prisoners because all the guards had to be in attendance for the battle. So they had them there where they can keep an eye on them. So they got to see the battle against these monsters firsthand. And Matt Damon is just really impressed by the level of training and effectiveness of this army. He's never seen an army that worked in unison the way this one did. So he kind of falls in love with it and wants to stay there and make a name for himself. Well, the French guy's like, let's just get the black powder and get the hell out of here at our first opportunity. So they kind of earn the trust of the army, and of course the French guy still wants to betray them and everything, and Matt Damon is going to at first, but then he just can't bring himself to leave them in the middle of combat like that. So he kind of starts helping them fight off the monsters and whatnot. And I don't know how I zoned out at this point, but at some point, I'm not sure how they did it or when it happened, but the monsters managed to get through the wall somehow, and I think they had tunneled underground. Someone later found the tunnel or something. And because I remember a bunch of them standing in a tunnel talking. And I wasn't sure exactly where that was going because, again, I wasn't really paying too much attention to the subtitles because they were going by a little quickly at that point. But I'm guessing they had been tunneling through the wall for a while and just no one ever noticed. So now the monsters were on their way to the capital, so basically the wall has failed. So now all the soldiers leave the wall and they're flying on hot air balloons to the capital to try to finally end the monsters before they get to the capital and kill the prince or the king or the emperor or whatever he was, who's just a child in this, because, you know, China's always had a child emperor for some reason. So they're doing their best to get there. Half of them blow up in the hot air balloons for some reason, just to thin the numbers. So then Matt Damon finds out what's going on, because his friend had tried to escape with the black powder, and Matt Damon was left for dead there because he tried to stop him, and they got the upper hand on him and took off. So, of course, they thought he did it, even though a guard said I was there. He tried to stop them, whatever. He was still locked up. He wasn't allowed to help anymore. So then when they all went to war, the general of the army said to set him free, and he could take the black powder if he wanted. They didn't care. Basically, the wall had failed, so they just didn't care about anything anymore, so he was free to have it. Instead of taking it and leaving, he decides, you know, get me on a hot air balloon, I'm going to go help, and flies to the capital. And they manage to, through courses of events, lose the majority of the army until there's only like 2 or 3 of them left. And of course, being Matt Damon, being the hero of the film, he sets it up to where they're able to take out the queen. And of course, once the queen is dead, the soldiers don't know what to do and just stop, and they're kind of dead even though they're alive. They kind of go into a hibernative state because there's no queen to tell them what to do anymore. So they just instantly stop, and that's it. Now they got all these dead alien lizard things laying around. So that's pretty much the movie. Like I said, I wouldn't say it's a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't as bad as a lot of people made it out to be. The visuals were nice. The action sequences were well done. You know, I don't know how somebody can look at this and say that it was a crappy action movie when it's all the same type of stuff you see in something like Fast and the Furious or Triple X or John Wick. And it's like all the same type of thing. It's just armies fighting and a lot of people die and then the last couple manage to survive, whatever. And people say, oh, it's crap. Why? Because you didn't understand the story, or the story didn't make sense because you had to read a few subtitles. There was still enough meat there to grasp onto what was going on. So yeah, I don't think it was quite as bad as people said it was, but at the same time, it wasn't a great film either. It was just another kind of cut and paste action film. So if you like action films, check it out. You'll probably enjoy the action scenes in it. As far as the story, it could have been better, but it wasn't horrible. So what would I give it as far as a star rating? My personal taste, I'd say, I was going to say a 2.5, but I don't think it deserves to be quite that low. Had I not had to do the subtitle thing, again, I know people hate that when you have Chinese characters in a movie in China, they all speak English or whatever, but you're making it for an American audience who the majority of speaks English, and the majority of don't like to read things anymore. So to have them speak English, yes, it kind of whitewashes the movie, but at the same time, it makes it to where your American audiences can watch it and understand it without having to do any extra effort. And I think that's what people are starting to hate. It's like, okay, we're trying to make things more accurate now, so all the Chinese people from China, yeah, there's Chinese people in the movie, and guess what? They all speak Chinese. Well, now I have to read subtitles, and if the subtitles go by so fast that I'm not able to read them, or I just zone out at a certain part of the movie, I might miss dialogue of something important. And that's what I kind of dislike about everyone raising this issue about whitewashing of films. Yeah, you want to have Asian actors in an Asian film, great. You want to have black actors in a black film, great. You want to have Hispanic actors in a Hispanic film, fine. But for the most part, if it's going to an American audience, tailor to your audiences. There's a reason why when this movie will go to another country like India, they dub it into whatever Indian language people speak in the territory that's being released. It's why when it goes to some place like Korea, it's dubbed in Korean. When it goes to France, it's dubbed over in France. It's the same thing with a lot of TV shows. It's dubbed for whatever country it's being viewed in. So stop taking the English out of films that are being shown in America. Yes, there were subtitles, but at the same time, they could have just easily spoke English and made the story a little bit easier to follow. But at the same time, I see people's points about wanting tradition to not be whitewashed over. at the same time, there's a reason behind it. You just have to think before you actually go off on a tangent about it. So like I said, as far as the star rating, I was going to give it a 2.5, and that was only because of that little minor issue. But like I said, it's a pretty standard film. I don't think it really needs to be rated too low. So I'm going to bump it up to a 3. It's just an average middle-of-the-road action film. If you like action films, you'll probably enjoy it for the action sequences. If you are into films more for the story, you're probably not going to like it, especially if you got to do any reading and you don't like to read. So yeah, it gets a 3 from me. It wasn't bad, or at least not as bad as everyone said it was. So that's it for this episode. Again, as always, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Links are down in the description. Click the bell up there in the corner. Make sure you're getting notifications every time I post new content. And until next time, we'll see you after the credits.